Hi guys, this is part 5 of me working on a video blog for brucecampaign.org. I read this article called Redefining Sex? No thanks. Part five's title is Sexual Cultures Have Limitations. Why push drag story hour where drag queens are reading to children? I'd argue it's because the trans community doesn't see themselves constrained like all sexual cultures are. They believe their own fantasy. And in their own fantasy, they can't be expected to be anything but the lead role. It seems that trans don't just view themselves as any gender and sexual orientation, they instead are the penultimate gender and sexual orientation combined. They are the unicorns who may visit a sexual culture that are themselves above such constraints. Or we could say, not all trans. Drag queens being a special, emotive subset, entertainer group, and not necessarily drag queens that don't necessarily always identify as trans. So, but generally speaking, I'm gonna put that aside for a second. So back in the real world, meanwhile, every drag show I've ever seen would clearly be considered as adult entertainment, basically a form of cabaret. These categories of adult entertainment are generally allowable in many places with certain age-related and other reasonable constraints. Drag Story Hour isn't adult entertainment, though. It's the intentional marketing of a sexual culture to children. This is how they describe it on their own website. It's just what it sounds like. Storytellers using the art of drag to read books to kids in libraries, schools, and bookstores. Drag Story Hour captures imagination and play of the gender fluidity of childhood and gives kids glamorous, positive, and unabashedly queer role models. In spaces like this, kids are able to see people who defy rigid gender restrictions and imagine a world where everyone can be their authentic selves. It sounds nice on first read, but this is an indoctrination campaign. The book reading is secondary. Children believe what adults tell them. They are made to believe in Santa, the Tooth Fairy, and God because some adult told them to. Now they have an unabashedly queer, glamorous role model telling them that they are gender fluid children and they can defy gender restrictions and be their authentic selves. Well, science disagrees that the children are gender fluid. Boys can't be girls and girls can't be boys. Aside from that and other real world constraints, a girl can do just about anything and a boy as well, which means a drag queen can also do anything they want as a man within real world constraints, even read books to kids if that's what they want to be doing. I'm guessing if a library told them to leave the adult cabaret outfit at home, stick to age appropriate books, and just call it story hour, they won't be as interested in reading to the children. At that point, it wouldn't be about them anymore. And that would be terrible. I do think there is a distinction to be made concerning cross dressing versus drag. While plenty of places may enforce dress codes for men and women, I'd be willing to entertain the argument that if a woman can wear certain clothes in a location, then a male crossdresser probably should be able to wear it as well. This isn't the issue at hand. The issue is about indoctrinating children into false ideas about sex change being real. Alright, thanks guys. That's part 5. Now, if you haven't read the first 4, you might hear that and be like, oh wow, he just said a bunch of things that I don't, agree with or whatever. Well, if you heard the first 4 and you hear the next one, which will be a doozy, then it would make more sense. Anyways, the next one is part 6. Children, by definition, don't know what it means to be a man or a woman.